Oh boy, back on our controversial ish. Back on our controversial ish. Uh oh. Back on the controversy. We back with another one. We back with another NBA throughout the years, man. This is the NBA in 2010. So this would be the time. This would be the last time we would probably see Kobe in the finals. This will be the last time we see Kobe in the finals. This will also be the last time we see the Celtics. I mean, not the Celtics, but the KG, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Rondo Celtics in the finals as well. So the end of a dynasty, pretty much of the 2000s, capped off at the beginning of the 2010s. That's crazy. The end of a dynasty, the end of an era, because we went into a new era going into the 2010s going forward. So yeah, man. Yeah, man. Without further ado, let's get right into it, though, man. Let's get right into it. The year of the NBA in the year of 2010. This was this was an okay season. Now, if we rank in the 2010s, by far 2016 is I can't even deny 2016 was probably the funnest year out of all of them. 2016, 2013, um yeah, 2013, 2016. 2019 is up there too. I think 2019 is up there too. Um we'll have to see going forward. But anyways, though, without further ado, let's get right into this. 2010, let's get it.
2010
I
was the
keep
year that
doing that.
changed everything, on and off the court. Justin Bieber's Baby ruled the
Really,
airwaves.
nigga?
Angry Birds took over our phones.
Oh my
and
god.
Christopher Nolan's Inception challenged what a blockbuster.
I can see how old you is. See how old you is.
A minor.
Oh my god, this nigga talking about Justin Bieber and Angry Birds. What? Come on, bro.
Could be. Meanwhile, on the hardwood, the NBA was boiling over. Kobe and the Lakers held the crown, but whispers of doubt surrounded their 2009 title. Not to take anything away from the Orlando Magic last year, but they weren't the Boston Celtics, whose 2009 season was compromised because
I'm gonna just say this. This was this was definitely the end of an era. This was the end of identifying with teams. This was the end of superstars wanting to carry the load. This was the last year of the 2000s for sure. The 2000s, after this year, everything changed. But after 2010, yes, everything changed. Everybody wanted to team up. You couldn't identify with a team no more. Teams had to rebuild. It was so much rebuilding going on. Teams probably, man, this was not the best of times. But this is also the year where we had Blake Griffin, Steph Curry, James Harden, Drew Holiday. Trying to think who else. Who else? Hashim to beat. Remember Hashim to beat? Pepperidge Farm remembers Hashim to beat. Trash ass nigga.
Hell no! Trash ass nigga!
Oh my god. Yeah, this is definitely the new. Yeah. This was definitely the last year of the 2000s, man. Because after this, the whole league changed. After this,
of a season-ending injury to KG, and they also weren't the Cleveland Cavaliers, whose homegrown phenom LeBron James was arguably the best player in the league. Could Kobe and the Lakers go back-to-back? Can LeBron validate his individual accomplishments with a title?
nope.
Are the Boston Celtics a one-hit wonder or a true dynasty for the ages?
Could have been.
Legacy, pride, and a chance at history were all on the line, so join us as we deep dive into this critical year in the NBA in the year 2010, a year in review. Kobe, LeBron, and the Boston Big Three took over all the headlines and all the accolades as they were searching for some degree of validation. But as the 2010 season kicked off, a young Kevin Durant, in only his third season, demanded a seat at this table.
Exactly.
One of, if not the best pure scorers of all time, KD broke out this season, leading the league.
This is where the Oklahoma City Thunder became my second favorite team. This is where everything for me changed. Because at this point, Allen Iverson was pretty much getting kicked out the league. So I had to throw Allen Iverson out. I had to throw Tracy McGrady was pretty much washed up at this point. Dwayne Wade was still around, but Dwayne Wade wasn't like hidden for me the same as before. So like I started looking into like Kevin Durant. Actually, the reason why Kevin Durant became my favorite player around this time, it wasn't even for Kevin Durant. It was really Russell Westbrook. I remember Westbrook was going off one game. No, actually, he was going off one game, and then I started looking up Russell Westbrook highlights, and I was like, yo, I like this Russell Westbrook guy. Then I started watching Oklahoma City Thunder games, and then I realized that KD was really him. And I started paying more attention to KD a little bit more than Russell Westbrook. But those were definitely my two new favorites. So at this time, it was like Kevin Durant. It was Kevin Durant and Carmelo Anthony right at this moment. At this moment right now, it was just Carmelo Anthony. I don't know. I was in like this weird phase with Dwayne Wade. I don't know. I wasn't really like, I really wasn't seeing like Dwayne Wade. I didn't think that Dwayne Wade was ever going to get back to that championship status. So I kind of like pushed him off to the side a little bit. And I started looking at the Oklahoma City Thunder because I saw the potential in them. And I also still saw the potential in Melo and Denver Nuggets because Melo was still balling at that time. So at this time, it was just Melo and KD, and then Russ started to creep into the equation.
League in scoring at 30 points per game, the youngest player ever to average 30 for the season, and the youngest player ever to ever lead the entire league in scoring.
Low key, Derrick Rose was starting to peek into it too, but I was like, but I didn't see the Chicago Bulls really doing anything until they started making some major moves. Until the Chicago Bulls started making major moves, I really wasn't going to put too much onto Derrick Rose just yet. But Russell Westbrook and KD for sure, I saw the potential.
His combination of length, shooting, and ball handling made him a deadly offensive threat, and he was leading an incredibly young OKC team in a tough Western Conference. Barely legal to drink, KD put the entire league on notice in 2010. While Kevin Durant lit up the
Kevin Durant with an arm sleeve is nasty work. So he hold you. That shit kind of nasty, bro. That's some nasty work right there, bro.
Help me! Help me!
That's some nasty work right there with Kevin Durant with the arm sleeve. It's crazy.
league with his scoring brilliance, the once fiery Kobe versus LeBron debate began to cool. Not because it had been settled, far from it, but because both stars had turned inward, each locked in on his own mission. LeBron, already in his 7th season, was the face of the league and a league MVP, but still ringless. Even his peer Dwayne Wade had broken through with a title back in 2006. The noise, the doubts, the lingering questions, they were only getting louder. By 2010, LeBron was no longer the young fiend.
I still wonder, why did LeBron grow his hair out at this fucking time? That shit always kind of like irked me a little bit. Like, why was you growing your hair out at this time, knowing where your hairline was, bro? What was the purpose of the fro? What was the purpose of the mini fro? What was the purpose of the James Evans from Good Times? What was the purpose of this, bro?
No, I'm trying to hang with the big boys. Critics were beginning to ask, would he ever live up to the immense hype that had followed him since 2003? If he failed to win this year, or at least go to the finals, not even another league MVP in 2010 could mask this failure. And for Kobe, well, his mission was clear. Go back to back and your legacy is validated. Beat Cleveland and your legacy is elevated. Beat Boston and your legacy is cemented. The playoffs couldn't start early enough for the Black Mamba. And sure, this season reminded all of us of Kobe's greatness once again. All NBA first team, all defensive first team, third in MVP voting. But at this point though, these were all table stake achievements. That back-to-back title is what he needed, is what he was salivating over. And with Kobe leading the charge, the Lakers were once again firmly in control of the Western Conference. So naturally, the spotlight shifted to the Eastern Conference as the 2010 playoffs got underway. The real question, who would rise to challenge LA in the finals? The two Eastern Conference powerhouses, Boston and Cleveland, met in a high-stakes second-round clash, meaning one contender season would end much earlier than expected with lasting consequences. For Cleveland, everything was on the line. LeBron James's looming free agency had cast a shadow over the entire regular season, and it loomed largest now. A second-round exit wouldn't just be a disappointment, it would be a disaster. It would slam the door on their championship window and signal the possible end of the LeBron James era in Cleveland. For Boston, the pressure was immense. This was year 3 of the Big 3 era, and the window was rapidly closing. Age, injuries, and heavy mileage were piling up. If they didn't win now, they might never get another chance. And beneath it all,
to be honest with you, if the Miami Heat Big 3 never happened, they could have went to the finals multiple times. There was no team in the East that was going to stop them. No team in the East was going to be able to stop them. The only thing that could stop the Boston Celtics at this point in time was injuries. That was it. If the Miami Heat Big 3 didn't happen, then I'm pretty sure the Celtics can get back to the finals. I'm pretty sure they would have handled the Dallas Mavericks. I'm pretty sure they would have. The following year in 2012, if the Big 3 Miami Heat didn't exist, I say the Thunder win that one. I think the Thunder would have won that one. They would have ran them out the gym.
creeping anxiety lingered. Would just one championship be enough to justify the Boston hype and the sacrifice of each of their 3 stars? Or would they be remembered as a dynasty that never fully delivered? This high-stakes second round tipped off in Cleveland, and through the first 2 games, both teams were going back and forth, and the series was tied 1-1 headed to Boston. In Game 3, in Boston, LeBron exploded for 38 points, including 21 points in the first quarter, setting the table from the jump and leading his Cavs to a good old-fashioned 29-point beatdown to take a 2-1 lead and what looked like firm control of the series. Then came Game 4, and Rajon Rondo happened. If last year's first-round battle with Chicago hinted at his potential, this was the breakout. In front of the Boston crowd, Rondo erupted for 29 points, 18 rebounds, and 13 assists.
Yeah, Rondo was MVP of this series.
Just the big 3. With Rondo
was the MVP of this series. He was definitely the deciding factor of the series, because at this point, they didn't know what to do. Rondo was killing the Cavs in this series, bro.
rise, Boston officially had a Big 4. With the series tied 2-2 and a pivotal Game 5 back in Cleveland, this was supposed to be a defining moment, the kind where legends rise. And for LeBron, on his home floor, everyone expected dominance. Instead, what unfolded was a stunning collapse. In one of the dark,
and this is where people try to make the excuse of LeBron didn't have any help. LeBron was playing like butt juice in this series, bro. Stop it. When are y'all going to accept the fact that y'all just run into good teams? This was a good team. Y'all just ran into a better team. You don't win 60 plus games in a season without any help. LeBron did not win all those 60 games by himself. The Cavaliers as a whole won them games. So clearly the team was good, just not good enough for this team that clearly had a bunch of talent around this time. You got to think about it. They had Kevin Garnett, Rasheed Wallace. Rondo was pretty much entering his prime at this point. Ray Allen was still a sniper. Paul Pierce was still him at this point in time. KG was healthy. Just admit that you ran into a better team and that your king, your also glorious king wasn't good enough. He wasn't good enough. He got locked down. He got clamped up. Y'all need to stop making excuses and accept the fact of what happened, man. The boy got clamped up, man. It happens. Stop it.
Darkest nights of his career, LeBron disappeared. He scored just 15 points on 14 shot attempts.
Looking like the 2011 NBA Finals.
Completely disengaged. There was no urgency, no fire. The crowd at Quicken Loans Arena, stunned and frustrated, even began to boo. Boston sensed blood and unleashed a merciless 30-point demolition that crushed Cleveland's spirit and shifted the series irreversibly. And by the time Game 6 rolled around in Boston, the damage was already done. The momentum had swung completely in the Celtics' favor, and they shocked the world by toppling the league's top seed and their back-to-back MVP superstar. We all know the events that would follow: the infamous decision, the birth of Miami's Big Three, and a seismic realignment of the league's balance of power.
Yep.
This series didn't just end the season, it ignited a saga that changed basketball.
It ended the era.
And one of its most premier stars.
This whole series ended the era of basketball where we could identify teams with their superstars. People wasn't teaming up with each other. It was a competitive league. It was a balanced league. And now it's like, nah, we're going to go team up with each other. It was one thing when Boston did it. There was still balance within the league. But when LeBron joined Miami, that fucked everything up.
Forever. This collapse is a dark stain in LeBron's legacy, one that's never forgotten and endures as a key argument against his claim to being the greatest player of all time. With LeBron and Cleveland out, Boston faced last year's Eastern Conference champions, the Orlando Magic, in the conference finals. This time fully healthy, the Celtics dispatched the overmatched Magic in 6 games, setting up an epic...
That was Stan Van Gundy's fault, though. If we being honest, that was all Stan Van Gundy's fault. He clearly had the formula, but he kept switching up rotations and doing stupid shit. You could tell Stan Van Gundy was doing too much. Because they kind of had the formula down. Because it'd be certain points in the game where the Magic looked like they was finna dog walk the Celtics. And then it went from that to the Celtics miraculously coming back and ending off the Celtics coming back and ending off the Magic. So yeah, I blame Stan Van Gundy for this. He the main reason why. I feel like they did have a good game plan going into it. I feel like both teams matched up pretty well. Stan Van Gundy clearly had an edge over Doc Rivers, obviously, but he started making bad adjustments. He started doing too much. He started walking away from things that was working, and he kept trying to do new shit. He kept trying to do different shit and new shit. And I remember in this series, his brother Jeff Van Gundy was even questioning his brother's decisions. When your brother is on commentary questioning your decisions, like, why would he step away from that? Why he didn't just stick with that? Like, Jeff was really critiquing Stan in this series. I do remember that, bro, on commentary.
Rematch of the 2008 finals against LA. The rematch Kobe had waited 2 years for, the one he needed to fully validate his career, and the one Boston needed to cement their dynasty. The anticipation and drama was at an all-time high as Game 1 got underway. In fact, the first 90 seconds of Game 1 saw the team's 2 small forwards, Ron Artest and Paul Pierce, get into it as if we were watching a low-budget wrestling match, only to foreshadow the physicality, intensity, and fierce rivalry between the two franchises. Different from 2008, the Lakers' front line was much more aggressive.
That was a travel. He backpedaled and didn't know.
Center Andrew
That's
Bynum
a travel.
was a critical missing piece from the 2008 finals, whose presence was felt early on. In dominant fashion, LA took the early lead in the series. Game 2 was different though, as Ray Allen put together.
Yeah, Ray Allen was
historic
killing it
shooting
this series. I ain't gonna hold you.
8 3-pointers, which was a finals record at the time.
Yo, Ray Allen was low key the MVP of this series. If Boston won this series, Ray Allen gets Finals MVP in my eyes. Ray Allen was like the MVP of this series. Like, he was on point this whole series, bro.
And as the series shifted to Boston for Game 3, LA was determined to not just roll over. Behind a gutty 29-point performance from Kobe and a heroic fourth quarter performance from veteran Derek Fisher, the Lakers stole Game 3 to take a 2-1 lead.
Side note, I always wonder why they haven't retired Derek Fisher number yet. I feel like Derek Fisher deserves a jersey retirement in LA. He won all 5 rings with y'all. I at least give him that. I know he wasn't like a big factor, but come on, bro. I say he gets his jersey retired.
Game 4 in Boston saw the Boston bench come alive in a big way, highlighted exclusively by Glenn Big Baby Davis, one of the most underrated forwards at his position, with his unique ability to move his 290-pound body with such agility and speed, and Nate Robinson, the undersized yet highly athletic guard off the Celtics bench. The pivotal Game 5 in Boston saw Paul Pierce return to 2008 Finals MVP form as he lit up LA's defense with 27 points, scoring in isolation, at the basket, and in the mid-range. Game 6 headed back to LA, and with the Lakers' backs against the ropes, there was seemingly no way the Lakers were going to let the series slip away again, as they managed to hold Boston to just 67 points, the second lowest points total in NBA Finals history. All this set up for a climatic Game 7, a game for...
I'm not gonna lie, that Game 6 did have some questionable calls. There were some very questionable calls in that Game 6. But hey, we got to the Game 7. The referees let the players play. I ain't gonna lie. Game 7, the referees did not get involved. They let the players play on that one.
For the ages. One game, one night, with everything on the line. The game was a bloodbath. Both teams were worn down, but both teams refused to allow an inch to the opposition.
Elbowed the fuck out of him, didn't he?
Midway through the third quarter, LA found itself down 13. The Boston defense had swarmed Kobe all night and forced him into one of the worst shooting nights of his career and probably the biggest game of his life. Kobe shot 6 for 24, and Boston demanded that another Laker lead them to victory. Pau Gasol came up huge for the Lakers.
Travel.
19
These are
points
travels.
and 18 rebounds as he led the Lakers' comeback in the fourth quarter. The comeback was capped off with a Ron Artest three-pointer, the biggest shot of the series and the biggest shot of his very controversial, much-aligned career up until that point, giving the Lakers a 6-point lead with just under a minute left in the game. It wasn't pretty, far from it. But when the final buzzer sounded, the Lakers stood victorious, 83-79. They had climbed all the way back from the heartbreak of 2008 and settled the score with the very team that once embarrassed them on the biggest stage. And for Kobe, this was everything. This wasn't just another Finals MVP, this wasn't just his 5th ring, this was undoubtedly the sweetest of them all. The one that demanded every ounce of his will, his obsession, his sacrifice. Beating Boston meant redemption. Going back to back meant validation, and doing it all as the unquestioned leader meant his legacy was no longer up for debate. In that moment, with confetti falling from the rafters, Kobe didn't just add to his legacy, he cemented it. Since entering the league in 1996, he had been through it all. The early glory of the three-peat with the Lakers, the personal turmoil that turned fans and media against him, the relentless feud with Shaq that cast him as the villain, the early round playoff heartbreaks, the duels with the young LeBron, who many crowned the new king by 2007, and most painfully the 39-point loss to Boston in the 2008 Finals, a humiliation that haunted him for 2 long years. But now, after all the battles, all the scars, all the noise, he had done it. What he had been chasing all along was finally within his grasp. Not just the title of the league's best, but something even greater. The crown, the legacy, the right to be called the greatest to ever play the game.
Alrighty, man. That's just gonna about do it for this one. Um, yeah, man. 2010 was it's pretty solid year. Pretty solid year. I wish he would have talked about that Phoenix series though. That Phoenix series was kind of crazy. With LA and Phoenix, that Western Conference Final series was kind of crazy. But I get it though. He wanted to talk about his glorious King LeBron. Had to get it in somewhere, right? But anyways, though, yeah, man, 2010 was alright, but it wasn't the best in my personal opinion. It was better, just way better years. Like I said, 2016 probably one of the best years of all time. One of the best years of all time. One of the saddest years too, because we lost. That was pretty much the end of it. If we want to talk about the end of an era, 2016 was the end of an era. Kobe retired. Tim Duncan retired. It was plenty of people that pretty much exited the game in 2016. That was playing in the 2000s. So yeah, yeah, man. I probably yeah. Yeah, 2010 was alright. 2010 was alright. Wasn't the best, but it was alright. I think going into the next season though, I'll probably say 2011 is up there too. 2011 is definitely up there too. Yeah, 2011 is definitely up there too. That was kind of a fun season as well. Minus the finals. Minus the finals. I'd probably say 2011 was one of the more funner years as well for the NBA. But we'll have to see next time. Anyway, so I'll see y'all in the next video. Till then, bye.